do not necessarily reflect those of the staff or management of Radio Dihori's. The content broadcast on this show is meant for informational and entertainment purposes only.
जब हमारे परिवार के बुजुर्गों की सेहत और देखभाल की बात होती है तो घर पर इन होम केयर वाला ऑप्शन सबसे बढ़िया है। अनलॉक का पेस प्रोग्राम एक ऐसा कन्वीनियंट एंड पर्सनलाइज्ड ऑप्शन है जिसके जरिए हमारे बुजुर्ग घर पर हमारे साथ रहकर यही देखभाल और सेवा का लाभ उठा सकते हैं। अब चाहे वो घर पर रहे या अनलॉक वाले पेस सेंटर में आए, उनको वही डेडिकेटेड एंड प्रोफेशनल केयर मिलेगी। अनलॉक ने बुजुर्गों की सेहत को अपना प्रायोरिटी बना लिया है। और जानने के लिए 1855-308-0195 पे कॉल करें। That's 1855-308-0195. After months of screen time and no play dates, the Children's Discovery Museum is open for Purple Play Days of Summer. It's time to rediscover the wonder. Climb on the fire engine, splash around in the waterworks, blow bubbles, and scale the tree climber in Bill's backyard. Oodles of hands-on arts and culture, STEM, health, and nature-themed exhibits await your family. The Giant Purple Museum is open every day, Wednesday through Sunday. Reservations are required at cdm.org. That's cdm.org.
Top of the morning, Bay, with Good Morning Bay.
Get to know about the traffic on your way and what's news around the world today.
Some wisdom skills along the way.
Oh, and a song to hum along with and sway.
Get your perfect entertaining start to the day.
At 9 a.m. every weekday morning with
Mahima's
Good Morning Bay.
Good morning, Bay. आप सभी लोग हमारी तरफ से एक प्यार भरा नमस्ते,
नमस्कार,
वनकम,
नमस्कार,
खुशामदीद,
अस्सलाम वालेकुम,
सत श्री अकाल,
मीकंदरी वंदनम,
जय स्वामी नारायण,
जय श्री कृष्ण,
जय जिनेंद्र।
हमारे इस्माइली भाई बंधुओं को बोल दे याली मदद,
मोराली मदद बोलते हैं सारे फीजी। अब मतलब बोलेगा नीसा बुला बनजान, हम आ गए हैं आपके प्यारे महिमा के द्वारे। मैसेफ ऑल टू बा 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 बा।
And of course myself Faltu Rani लेकर आपके लिए एक और drive time that's going to make it totally exciting and totally mastani bandu jane.
That's right, but of course अगर सोच रहे अरे wow, this is awesome and do I get to listen to it every day? Yes, you get to listen to it every day, Banjan. And you wonder what are you going to hear, what are you going to hear, what are you going to gain? Well, Banjan, we talk about the news, we talk about the view, our views about the news, we talk about reviews, Banjan, we also talk about multiple things happening around you. Yes, locally and also we go globally, Banjan. That's right, we are global right now. As you guys know, our apps are available for download across the world. I kid you not, across the world, Banjan. If you want to go check it out, download the app and go travel the world. You can listen to us anywhere and everywhere. Yes, right. I can guarantee you. In fact, we can even make it relevant for you guys. If we told you, call up and say, hey, Altu Baba, I'm stuck in this particular place in the world. What's the traffic like? Yeah, you can challenge me. And you never know. I might come back and, surprise you.
That's true.
Like, Fatani, throw a particular place and tell you what's happening. I'll tell you what's happening there.
Let's see, 680.
680, there's traffic there, Fatani.
580.
There's traffic there also, Fatani. Now, is it bad or not? I don't know, but I'll tell you what.
84.
It's time for us to go into our Raste Ka Haal. Aapko dekhi saste budget. Fatani keeps on going about this thing, saying that, oh no, she don't need local. I'm asking you to go international, Fatani.
Okay.
You should ask me what's happening in Russia. You must ask me what's happening in Beirut.
Why?
You must ask me what's happening in China.
I don't care.
People actually are listening to us there, Fatani. Care about it, Fatani.
Oh, Beirut? People are listening to us in Beirut?
Of course.
And still there's so much violence?
Well, Fatani, it's not the question of because there's so much violence, they won't listen to us to calm themselves, right?
Right. That's true, actually.
Yeah, and of course, Banjan, right now, let's go and take a look at what's happening in the roads in Bay Area for sure, Banjan. Raste Ka Haal total saste mein.
It's time for the Bandhu Traffic Update. Call us from wherever you are at 408-912-2479.
Bandhus, ever wondered why it's called Bandhu's Traffic Update? Because you guys can give the update yourself and earn those good karma points, Banjan. Because why should we always get the good karma points? Well, when good karma points is when you do something selflessly, Banjan. That's what you got to do. So if you're stuck in traffic, you don't have to worry about it. Just call up and say, I'm stuck in traffic. That's enough. Because people behind you will automatically thank you, right? And yesterday, Banjan, we talked about how it's like a perfect weather for a fire, Badajan. There's a fire reported in 85 southbound at Santa Teresa Boulevard in San Jose. The lane is affected out there. Expect delays on that. CHP is on the scene. Fire department is trying to douse the flames so there, Badajan, but watch out, drive very carefully in that region. Disabled truck is reported in 85 southbound near 237 near Mountain View, Badajan. The right lane is blocked over there, probably congestion in that region. An accident, a collision on 101. Northbound, south of Whipple Avenue, River City, the left shoulder is blocked for that reason, Badajan. And you would definitely have a congestion in that area. As you guys know already, there's a lot of congestion in that region, Badajan. And now a traffic hazard has been reported on 580 westbound west of 35th Avenue. It doesn't say what the hazard is, but probably an accident. Some debris are there, so watch out, drive very carefully. Otherwise, Badajan, the weather-wise, if you look at it, it is going to be a fairly hot day today. We're going to be in the upper 80s, 88, 89, the kind of range, Badajan. And yes, there are no clouds in sight anywhere to actually give us some kind of a reprieve from the hot sun. So just watch out and dry and keep yourself calm and cool, Badajan. And if at all you want to beat the heat, you know the best way to do it is pick up the Radio D Hotties app, Badajan, and listen to us and chill out. All I can tell you is when it gets too hot, you gotta get hotter.
That's right, Banajan. Beat the heat with the heat. I mean, you know, fire with fire, they say, right? So, definitely, that's something that you would need to do because, you know, Banajan, when you listen to the Radio D Hotties app, there's one of two things that happen. One, you'll be exhilarated with the choice of music. I mean, you're like, wow, this is so amazing and so awesome. I can't wait to get more.
True that.
And then the second thing that'll happen is that it gets into your system, and then you start experiencing those feelings of the songs, and you start singing those songs, and it becomes second nature to you to listen to Radio D Hotties. So definitely do that. But for now, let's tell you what else we have on Radio D Hotties for you. This is the morning edition of the news, views, and reviews and more right here on Good Morning Bay, where we bring you news headlines from across the world, a little bit of news in detail from India, from across the world, across the United States, and also locally right here in the Bay Area. So every single morning you get to catch up on this right here. Just the right amount of information to get in the know. Right, Altu?
That's right. So let's get going, Fatwani.
All right. From the Radio D Hottie studios right here in the Bay Area, Banajan, in the Silicon Valley, these are the local headlines. COVID-19 outbreaks widen at East Contra Costa school districts. Demand for testing spurs long lines and wait times at COVID clinics. Apple is saying that it will reject government demands to use a new child abuse image detection system for surveillance. Fake vaccination cards are raising concerns at businesses and institutions. And in national news, Bandajan, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo resigns after the sexual harassment claims. Cuomo's replacement, Kathy Hochul, becomes the new governor, but she will be the first female governor of New York. The United States Senate passes the bipartisan $1 trillion infrastructure bill. Wisconsin governor vetoes the Republican-backed voting restrictions laws that was passed. And amid COVID, 2.5 million people sign up for U.S. health insurance, according to the White House. And finally, Andrew Cuomo is actually going to be addressing the sexual harassment allegations amid calls for resignation. The news in detail. COVID-19 cases continue to rise at schools in East Contra Costa County after districts in Brentwood and Oakley reopened to in-person instruction last week. The outbreak in the Brentwood Union School District has grown from 10 confirmed cases to 19, and at least 117 students and 4 staffers there are showing symptoms of COVID-19 but have not yet tested positive. Last week, that number was 45. In the Liberty Union High School District in Brentwood, there are 48 confirmed cases of COVID-19 infections, half of which are at Liberty High School. In Oakley's Union Elementary School District, cases went from 3 last week to 19 this week. Elementary and many middle school students can still not get the vaccine, though the American Academy of Pediatrics is pleading with the FDA to approve a vaccine for children. And as far as booster shots are concerned, for those that are already vaccinated, the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, the group that advises the CDC, is going to be taking up this matter on this Friday. Demand for testing. As the Delta variant surges, so has the demand for COVID tests. And that means if you're among the many looking to get tested, expect to wait for hours or even maybe days. In Pleasanton, people with appointments Monday at a COVID clinic had a 2-hour-long wait. Deep Chaya was one of the many who struggled to be patient with the line at the testing site, according to NBC Bay Area. With school starting this week, Chaya is determined to get his test. Rob Shane was also in line, and he said he was looking to do this test as a precaution after learning that someone he had been in contact with had tested positive for the coronavirus. People are vaccinated, but they are getting paranoid because they think that they might be breakthrough cases. So if you're planning to get COVID tested, Banajan, just prepare for longer lines and delays. Apple says that they are going to be rejecting government demands for a child abuse image detection system for surveillance. Apple defended its new system to scan iCloud for illegal child sexual abuse materials on Monday during an ongoing controversy over whether the system reduces Apple user privacy and could be used by governments to surveil citizens. Last week, Apple announced it has started testing a system that uses sophisticated cryptography to identify when users upload collections of child pornography to its iCloud storage service. It says it can do this without learning about the contents of the user's photos stored on the servers. Apple reiterated on Monday that its system is more private than those used by companies like Google and Microsoft because its system uses both its servers and software running on iPhones. Privacy advocates, however, and technology commentators are worried about Apple's new system, which includes software that will be installed on people's iPhones through an iOS update and could be expanded in some countries through new laws to check for other types of images, like photos with political content instead of child pornography. But Apple has said in a document posted to its website on Sunday that governments cannot force it to add non-CSAM, that's child sexual abuse images, to a hash list or the file of numbers that correspond to known child abuse images. Apple will distribute to iPhones to enable this particular system. Remember, some businesses are asking for vaccination cards. Well, one thing that's a problem that's arising is that fake vaccination cards are being given out. As more businesses and institutions require proof of vaccination, some people are looking for fake vaccination cards to get by. But making or using phony cards are federal offenses punishable by up to 5 years in prison and a hefty fine. So, if you're thinking of it, stop.
Of what?
Of using a fake vaccination card.
Please don't do that. You know, it doesn't actually protect you.
Exactly.
It's supposed to be fake.
Yes, Manajan. And officials at hundreds of California colleges and universities where proof of vaccination is required are concerned about the use of fake vaccination cards after many students surveyed by the Associated Press said that they knew people who were using counterfeit cards. But people are also using them as a means to get into bars and other establishments requiring vaccines, frustrating those business owners who are just trying to keep their employees and patrons safe. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has resigned today following an inquiry that found that he sexually abused or harassed 11 women, mounting legal pressure and demands for his departure by President Joe Biden and others, a startling downfall for a man who was once seen as a possible U.S. presidential contender.
No, really?
Yes. I think my conspiracy theory, Altu Baba, is this is the PBCT, I guess. No, PRCT. I think that this whole thing is an orchestrated effort because he was the first governor to take decisive action and bring a state like New York, the most populous state, one of the most populous states, back from the pandemic. So,
And he was a person
Yeah.
who was vocal about opposing Trump.
Trump, yes.
And very instrumental in the case against Trump, Bandujan. If you don't know about this, Bandujan, actually he has been very instrumental in actually making sure that the lawsuit in New York held, and that's why Trump people are scampering around to for his defense.
exactly, Vanajan.
Yeah.
Cuomo, a Democrat who has served since 2011 as the governor of the fourth most populous state, made the announcement after New York Attorney General Letitia James on August 3rd released results of a 5-month independent investigation that concluded that he had engaged in conduct that violated U.S. state laws. The investigation, detailed in a 168-page report, found that Cuomo groped, kissed, or made suggestive comments to women, including current and former government workers, one a state trooper, and retaliated against at least one woman who accused him of sexual misconduct, and Cuomo has denied wrongdoing. Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul, a Democrat from Western New York, will now take over as governor of the state of more than 19 million people until the end of Cuomo's term in December 2022, as outlined in the state's constitution, becoming the first woman to ever hold the post of governor for the state of New York. Cuomo's resignation marks the second time in 13 years that a New York governor has stepped down in scandal after Eliot Spitzer quit in 2008 over his patronage of prostitutes. Cuomo also became the latest powerful man to be taken down in recent years following the rise of the hashtag #MeToo social movement against sexual abuse and harassment that has shaken politics, Hollywood, the business world, and the workplace. His resignation spared Cuomo from possible removal from office through impeachment proceedings in the state legislature. In fact, Cuomo is going to be addressing the harassment allegations amidst the calls for resignation. And he says that he will address the people of New York via the governor's website, according to an announcement from his office. And we will bring that right here. He has denied any wrongdoing yet again, but has acknowledged that his efforts to be affectionate may have inadvertently made some people uncomfortable. He has thus far resisted widespread calls to resign, but he eventually did. In other news, Bandujan, the United States Senate passed the bipartisan $1 trillion infrastructure bill. And this package, which is a top priority for U.S. President Joe Biden, is a bipartisan victory for the White House that could provide the nation's biggest investment in decades for roads, bridges, airports, and waterways. The vote was 69-30 in the 100-seat chamber, with 19 Republicans voting yes. Immediately after that vote concluded, senators began voting on a follow-up $3.5 trillion spending package that the Democrats are hoping to pass without Republican votes through a measure called budget reconciliation. Polls showed that the drive to upgrade America's infrastructure, hammered out by a bipartisan group of senators over months of negotiations, is broadly popular with the public. This bill still has to go to the House of Reps, and the spirit of cooperation in Congress that led to Tuesday's vote will likely prove fleeting. Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers on Tuesday vetoed 6 voting restriction bills passed by Wisconsin's Republican-controlled legislature, blocking the latest Republican effort to limit access to the polls in a politically divided U.S. state. These bills add unnecessary and damaging hurdles for Wisconsinites to participate in our democracy, Evers, a Democrat, said at a news conference where he officially vetoed the bills, flanked by a group of voter advocates. Amid the COVID pandemic, Bandujan, 2.5 million people have signed up for health insurance, according to a report from the White House. They have bought health insurance through online marketplaces created by the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, after the Biden administration allowed more time to enroll amid COVID-19, the White House said on Tuesday. That's pretty much what we have in news from across the United States and locally here in the Bay Area. Do we have a Gane Ka Kida, Altu Baba?
Of course, we always have a Gane Ka Kida Faltuani and Bhajan. Today's Gane Ka Kida is something which you will love because it's a message that we have for you guys. It's showing our love to you, Bhajan, because every day in the morning we come up and we tell you guys, आप ही हमारे बंधु हो and yes, बंधु जान, हम आपके बंधु भी हैं भाई, लेकिन बंधु तू मेरा मेरा हमारा. From the movie जवानी जानेमान.
गर्जियों से भरे आजा लम्हे चुरा ले सभी कल की करे हम क्यों फिक्र साथ लम्हे बिता ले अभी ना करे कोई वादा ना थोड़ा ना ही ज्यादा आना है तो आजा क्या है सोचता ओ बंधु तू मेरा मेरा है तुझसे दिल का वास्ता.
And of course, Bhajan movie starring Saif Ali Khan and Kabir Bedi's granddaughter Banujan. This particular movie, of course, is I think her name is Alia Furniture.
Alia Furniture Wala.
Alaya Furniture Wala, her name. Alaya Furniture Wala is her name. But again, of course, this is a song which is sung by Yasser Desai. Music is by a new duo, Gaurav Roshan, and lyrics by Devshi Khanduri. All new people, but Jan, a good movie. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's worthwhile a watch. Jawani Janeman. And of course, you might think, oh my god, really? Jawani Janeman? Well, it actually is one of the famous songs. That movie is, of course, Ole Ole 2.0.
गम की डगर साथ रोए हंसे सपना सफर
That's why, Bhajan, हम आपके साथ रोएंगे भी, हंसेंगे भी और हंसाएंगे भी. Promise है हमारा.
खुशी गम की डगर साथ रोए हंसे सपना सफर बेढंगियां बदमाशियां साथ होने से लगती सही है मगर है उनके कारनां में अपने कई फसाने आ गए मुक्के गाने क्या है सोचता
उल्टे कारनामे. Very true. Alright, Bhajan, yeah, आपके लिए गाने खीरा था और थोड़ा बचेगा Bhajan, don't worry. लेकिन अभी के लिए wanna go take a look at the headlines and what's happening around the world. Faltari, what do you think?
Yes, absolutely. Taliban insurgents have tightened their grip on captured Afghan territory on Tuesday as civilians hid in their homes, and a European Union official said that the militants now control 65% of the country.
Wow.
After a string of gains as foreign forces pull out, President Ashraf Ghani called on regional strongmen to support his government, while a UN official said advances made in human rights in the last 20 years since the hardline Islamists were ousted from power were in danger of completely being erased. In China, Bandajan, a Chinese court upheld on Tuesday a Canadian man's death sentence for drug smuggling, prompting condemnation from Ottawa a day before another court is due to rule on the case of a Canadian accused of spying. The court proceedings for the two Canadians come as lawyers in Canada representing the detained chief financial officer of Chinese telecoms giant Huawei makes a final push to persuade a court there not to extradite her to the United States. Robert Schellenberg was arrested in China in 2014 for suspected drug smuggling, convicted in 2018 and jailed for 15 years. The High Court in the northeastern Chinese province of Liaoning heard his appeal against the death sentence in May last year and confirmed the verdict on Tuesday. Canada strongly condemns China's decision to uphold the death penalty sentence. Foreign Minister Mark Garneau said in a statement, "We've repeatedly expressed to China our firm opposition to this cruel and inhumane punishment," is what they're saying. In news from North Korea did not answer routine calls on inter-Korean hotlines on Tuesday, South Korea said, hours after a senior official in Pyongyang warned the South and the United States over annual joint military drills set to begin this week. Kim Yo-jong, the powerful sister of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, accused South Korea of perfidious behavior for going ahead with the drills after North Korea agreed to restore hotlines in late July, having cut them last year amid rising tensions. Prince Andrew is being sued now in court in New York by a woman who alleged that he sexually assaulted and battered her 2 decades ago when she was barely 17 years old. Virginia Giuffre, who says she was trafficked for sex by the late financier Jeffrey Epstein, filed a civil complaint against Andrew, Queen Elizabeth's second son, in the U.S. District Court of Manhattan. A spokesperson for Andrew, Duke of York, has declined to comment. The United States and Mexico are going to start discussing border reopening and are agreeing more on vaccines and vaccine mandates. And in news from India, Banajan, the Lok Sabha passed the Constitution's 127th Amendment Bill in 2021 with unanimous support from the House and not a single vote against, with Social Justice and Empowerment Minister Dr. Virendra Kumar stating that there was a need for careful examination of the demand made by several Lok Sabha MPs to remove the 50% cap on reservations currently in place. What does this do? It's basically restoring the right of states to specify OBC groups, which is the otherwise backward castes, right? And in other news from India, India is telling its residents or citizens who are in Afghanistan to immediately return to India. They have advised citizens in violence-hit Afghanistan to make immediate travel arrangements to return home before commercial air services are discontinued. As violence in many parts of Afghanistan has escalated, commercial air travel to many provinces and cities will be discontinued, is what the Indian government is saying. That's pretty much what we have in terms of news from across the world and also from India, Banajan. And that's all we have time for on this morning's Good Morning Babe. We'll be back tonight, live at 5.
All right, Banjan, with this, we're going to be telling you guys have a terrific Tuesday. Yes, we will see you in the evening live at 5, Banjan. Definitely make sure you download our app. Radio D Hotties, available for free on the iOS platform and also on the Android platform, Banjan. Yes, you can listen to us anywhere in the world. If you have a computer and you can go to the website, radiodhotties.com, or stay connected with us on social media, Instagram, your Instagram, or you can go to facebook.com/Radio D Hotties and follow us there as well. तब तक के लिए बंजन have a terrific Tuesday.
ना करे कोई वादा, ना थोड़ा ना ही ज्यादा, आना है तो आजा, क्या है सोचता, ओ बंधु तू मेरा मेरा, है तुझसे दिल का वास्ता.
Maza aa raha hai na? Great music, Banajan, for the best in entertainment and the best in music and the hottest tracks ever. You can get it on Radio D Hotties. For more information, go to MediaMahima.com.
Listen.